Welcome back. You are listening to a series of lectures on soft skills, and in that continuation we had been discussing communication without words or nonverbal communication. In nonverbal communication, we have talked about the way our body communicates. Several parts of the body communicate, namely the appearance, the hands, the eyes, the postures, the gestures, your voice, and the way you can improve your voice in order to make yourself being heard, being understood by the audience. And then we also talked about the nuances of proxemics, or the meaning space communicates in communication, whether you are having a conversation or giving a public speech or a part of group discussion, panel discussion, or even participating in meeting. We also emphasized on the importance of time that plays a very significant role in communication. We also pointed it out how time generates meaning, how time is perceived differently by different people in different contexts, and how you can utilize time to have proper communication. If time is important, space is important, equally important is your haptic behavior. Now, you might all think, what actually is haptic behavior or haptics? Let me ask you, when you are communicating with people around, whether they are people of your close circle or people who are strangers, have you ever felt that you have been touched at times? And then have you also realized how a touch generates feelings? The way we discuss touch and the way we try to incorporate touch in our communication can be studied through haptics. Hence, haptics is the language of touch. The word haptics or the term haptics has been taken from a Greek word that means I touch. Hence, the knowledge or the study of touch in communication in various situations is called haptics. It is actually a systematic study of touch behavior. Sometimes, though not intentionally, you touch people while you are communicating, but then you may also feel that if you have been touched by others, you also generate some feelings, especially in a global world today, in global settings, in workplaces. A touch has got a meaning, and though most of us do not want to touch others, but sometimes either because of the congestion of space or because of our hurry, we are willingly touched by others. Most often in crowded situations, at crowded places, you are touched, but then studies show that sometimes a casual touch may also generate very positive feelings. Sensation of touch can be used for information gathering in professional settings, but at the home front you may feel that touch can be interpreted in various situations in different ways. The touch of a mother to a son shows a sort of reassurance. It shows a sort of commitment to the child, and hence in many conditions when you feel yourself deprived of or you feel yourself at low, a touch by a closer relative or a touch by a person who is intimately related, that generates a lot of feeling. Gone are the times when this touch was also based on caste, based on differences. There is history replete with examples that based on classes, the low class people were not allowed to touch the high class people. This is a very classic book by Mulk Raj Anand named Untouchable, where you will find the protagonist Bakha, since he was living in a world where the low class people had no allowance to touch high class people. Hence, whenever he used to walk on the roads, he used to announce, "Hey, an untouchable is coming." But now, in a world of today, in a world of globalization, these things have taken different connotations. In general, touch generates feelings of different sorts. A touch by a closer relative or a friend, or a touch by a near kinsman may generate warmth. We can also find friendliness which can be reflected out of touch. In certain situations, you will find touch is also considered as a sort of regard, as a sort of togetherness, as a sort of affection. You will also come across various people and in various communities, the youngsters often touching the feet of elders, especially in India. Touch is also a form of showing your regard, as at the same time this touch by a younger to the elder in return brings a sort of blessing, and this is shown either by putting the hand on the head of the younger or by patting him at times on the shoulders. But let us remember that there are situations, there are times, and especially in professional settings, touch can have different meanings. At times, it may also create a sort of negative impact upon people. While patting on the back of a younger person by an elder person may be considered to encourage him, if the same is repeated to people, or if the same is shown to people who are strangers, that may not be taken graciously. Another way of touching is hugging. You will find when close friends they meet each other, either they hug each other, they greet each other. There are other ways also of touching or bringing both of your palms together in order to greet. In India, while people greet each other, they compliment their feelings not only by words, but by non-words, which is in the form of the folding of the hands. But since we are living in a world which is global and where people of all cultures meet, there have been several occasions where this touch has become very controversial. I will in course of time give you certain examples where touch has generated a lot of debate among people. Now, in some cultures, there is also a tradition of kissing, especially in Latin American countries, kissing the forehead of the other person, but that may not ensure a sort of intimacy, especially in countries where people are reserved, where feelings are considered to be very reserved. We have perhaps talked about how, especially in a country like Japan, certain display of feelings in public is considered inconsiderate. That is why when a Japanese woman smiles, she puts her hands or palms on her mouth. This actually, because it is considered impolite to smile in public, whereas you will find that even Germans, they smile less, but that may be interpreted differently by people of other countries. Sometimes we also touch other people by holding hands. Sometimes we take others' hands in our hand, or sometimes we greet people by giving our arms to them or by touching them as their soldiers. Usually, in most countries of the world, the commonest form of touch is handshakes. But remember, it may also be explained and interpreted differently by people of different culture. Sometimes the way or with the intention that we extend our hands to others, and if the others withdraw their hands, that may have a different meaning. Either it may mean that the other person is not willing to cooperate, not willing to interact or to communicate with us. Hence, we have to be very particular when we talk about this touch behavior. There are differences, as we have talked about, in haptic behavior people all over the world. In India, any form of verbal greeting is most often followed by handshake or folding of hands. But then it can also vary in terms of gender. While two men can shake hands with each other, a man shaking hand with a woman in India and in some other countries also, that has certain restrictions. While in US and UK, handshake is the commonest form, but then it creates problems especially for Indian women in business settings, while their culturally sensitive atmosphere and upbringing have not prepared or allowed them to shake hands with people of the opposite sex. This at times may have a different meaning. An example in this regard can be given of how people in Spain, when the question of handshakes come, they believe that a handshake should last for at least 7 strokes, and if the other party withdraws or pulls, that has a different meaning, that may be thought of as a sort of rejection. In a globalized world where most of the business transactions are finalized after communication, some of these forms may hinder the progress of certain transactions only because the people are either culturally considered backward or sometimes they are considered too extrovert. Especially in Arab and Asian countries, as you will find and as the surveys have indicated, that handshakes are restricted. We have earlier talked about how people while maintaining space, they see to it that while an Arab dealing with an American, they actually feel either the one is too willing, the one is too close, or the other is too distant, and this may hamper or hinder the growth of further talks. It is very important here to talk about an observation, especially in Thailand. You know, in Thailand and Laos, as the observation says, it is rude for a stranger or acquaintance to touch a child on the top of the head, because touching a child on the top of the head is not considered well, because they are of the opinion that head is the most sacrosanct part of the human body, and it is the home of the spirit or the soul. It is also believed that a child's spirit or soul is not strong enough to be touched and has a tendency to become ill if patted. Hence, while you are having a communication or an interaction, or you have an opportunity to visit somebody in Thailand and Laos, please see to it that you do not repeat your own culture by or understanding that by putting your hand on the head of the child means blessing, because this may be considered differently by different people. Now, you also might be aware how in different settings these haptic behavior create different meanings. You all might have come across one episode where one actress, while she was kissed on the forehead, this generated a lot of debate, and then everyone in and around started thinking about the differences in terms of haptic behavior. Moreover, there was another example where a senior official patted on the back of a junior colleague who happened to be a female, and the matter also had to be carried to the court. Even though you have the best intentions to show your goodwill gesture, the way you bring in the touch behavior or your haptic behavior may at times be interpreted differently. Hence, while you are interacting with people across the world, you have to understand their local cultures, and since you do not understand the local cultures, what is advisable is to restrict yourself from the touch behavior. Here, there is another example where there is one form of greeting called hongi in New Zealand, where two people come very close to each other and their noses touch, and this is considered as a sort of breath sharing. Since the world is divided into several cultural zones, you have to understand that the way you touch others may have certain meanings. As we have been talking about handshakes, which are quite popular in every business setting nowadays, it is quite important to understand that there are usually three types of handshakes. Whenever you get an opportunity, you will find that not everyone shakes their hands the same way. These handshakes can show dominance. Here in this picture, in the very first one, you can see how a person, while shaking his hands, takes the control by taking the hand of the other and pressing the upper portion of the palm a little. This shows a sort of dominance. Usually, people at a higher position often shake hands doing this. There is another way where we can also generate the feelings of submission. In this condition, what is done is both the parties take their hand in each other, and then it appears that it is giving the hand, giving the control, and it is a form of submission. Whereas, people at the same position, people especially the peers, while they shake hands, what they generally do is, as they are equal not only in terms of their post, but also in terms of their age and all, they try to show equality, and while showing equality, they take their hands in each other and give them a shake, by which they try to show that they are equal. But then there are other ways of shaking hands also, and there are other ways also how you make or how you create language out of your palms. For example, you might have, if you watch movies regularly, you will often find that while the hero, he has to show a feeling, sometimes say of depression, sometimes say a feeling of neutrality, or sometimes of nothingness, they actually, by moving or by making their hands quite flat, they actually try to convey the intended meaning. Now, palm positions also can be submissive. When you openly give your hands, you are actually becoming very submissive. But when you try to show your dominance, what you do is you actually put your hands, you put your palm on the hand of the other person and try to show your dominance. On other occasions, when you have a feeling of aggression, at times you might have come across situations where you suddenly become angry, and that time what you do is you actually make use of your fingers. Sometimes you point fingers also, and that may, though it is not always welcome. No, we have in previous lectures talked about how you are showing your enumerative gesture, and when either you are trying to describe a point or you are trying to locate an object, so you use either enumerative or locative gesture. But in conversations or in some other group conversations, if you raise your index finger, or if you raise any of your fingers, or if you point your finger, that may be considered negative. And sometimes by making movements of your finger also, you can give some meaning. For example, if somebody draws a circle like thing with the help of the fingers, or sometimes somebody brings a finger close to the thumbs, he actually tries to convey the feeling of okay and all. But remember, such a sort of gesture, such a sort of the movement of the fingers, that may also be taken in a very insulting manner, that may also generate certain negative meanings. But sometimes by simply raising one of your fingers, you are also trying to show aggression, and your palm position becomes very aggressive. Since we have to deal with various situations in our lives, we find that we come across people who, because of their differences in terms of their position, their age and their status, we have to shake hands. And by handshake, you have to understand what sort of feeling is there. You have to understand. Say for example, sometimes you can come across people who are not willing to convey a good message or who are not that encouraging. They will actually give you a handshake which will be a dead fish handshake. This may be done not only by you, but by the other party also. You will find that such a handshake is a dead fish handshake. I mean, there is no life into it. I mean, there is no encouragement, and by that they have given you a message that if you are pursuing a business deal, or if you are talking about, or if you are trying to negotiate, perhaps this may not result fruitfully. The second is a dominant shaking. Now, look at this picture. Sometimes when people or representatives of two countries, they meet together and they discuss things, and finally either in the beginning or towards the end, it also depends what was the way somebody shook hands in the beginning and what was the way somebody shook hands towards the end. So, timing of the handshake and the way that has been timed, that also means a lot. So, a person or a country or a representative who consider himself dominant will give you a handshake in this way by taking only your fingers and not reaching the entire part of the palm. So, this says that this is a sort of dominant handshake, and you must try to understand the meaning involved in it. Now, time and again you come across people who appear to be very gracious in terms of their greeting, in terms of the verbal exchanges, in terms of the words being used, but sometimes you may find that if you are going to shake hands with a politician, it may appear to be very cheerful, and this handshake again has a meaning. They actually take your hand, they give both of their hands to you, and they symbolize something, though they always try to be very friendly, but you can always understand what does it mean. Dear friends, in today's world where we come across people from different faiths, different tastes, different genres, different occupations, different business purposes, all these touch behavior, they have different meanings. So, while you are conversing with them with the help of non-verbals, it becomes something very significant how their verbal messages are commingling with their non-verbal messages. Most of the time, if the verbal message is positive and the non-verbal message is negative, there appears to be a conflict, and then you may try to understand that the deal you are trying to finalize still requires something else, or it is going to end in a failure. People around the world are sensitive, and we also should see that while we are showing some of our gestures either in the form of hand gestures or handshakes, we are giving them some messages, because any positive message, if not offered, any positive message if not sent with proper intention, may tend to end in a failure, and business transaction may not be successful. Hence, it is time we gave much importance to haptics, because haptics or the touch behavior has been neglected since long time. the time has come that we try to understand more by people's non-verbal behavior than their verbal behavior. It is also very important to note here that some other features, like as we have discussed earlier, the choice of your dress, the choice of how you are trying to show your demeanor through some other means, they also go a long way in giving meaning to your verbal messages. Messages are there, not only verbal but also non-verbal, and successful is a person who tries to extract more from the non-verbal behavior, because the non-verbal behavior or the non-verbal cues are going to say much about the verbal behavior. If the verbal behavior or if the verbal message is in cooperation with, or if there is actually a sort of commingling or there is a sort of blend between the verbal and the non-verbal behavior, the messages go straight and they have a positive effect. We have previously emphasized how non-verbal behavior or non-verbal cues, they complement and supplement our verbal behavior. As youngsters and as would-be employees, you need to give too much importance as to how you are going to provide meaning through your non-verbal behavior or through non-verbal cues, either in the form of extending your hands, either in the form of giving a handshake, either in the form of making use of time, or in the way you make or you spread your body, you slouch, you at times glower your expressions, you at times try to hide your feelings. All these go a long way in providing meaning to various successful business transactions. As we cannot have a knowledge of most of the cultures of the world, but then there is nothing that can stop us from trying to understand. And the best way, my dear friend, is to allow more room, is to allow more space. Always we should try to give preference to others. We have as humans the tendency to speak more, and we have as humans the tendency to consider our culture as more important. But it may at times appear to be a sort of our belligerent attitude. Hence, we need to understand, we need to respect other cultures as we respect ours, and then perhaps is the way that we can communicate effectively and all business transactions may be successful. I do hope that all these communications that have been or that are there to be done with the help of non-verbal cues will go a long way in giving your personality an edge over others and making yourself distinct in terms of meeting business presentation, in terms of having group discussion, in terms of having negotiations, and in terms of overall reflecting your own style. Thank you very much.